Welcome
to Showcase Radio.
That was guitarist Michael Stanton leading the C.R. Ecker Band in an instrumental version of Our Fence Needs Mending. Good evening, I'm Chris Duvall, and I'd like to welcome you to a very, very special Chris Duvall Presents, because tonight we are going back 6 years to when Charles Ecker and Frankie M both sent me music for consideration for airplay on what was then Splash Radio. And we're going to go right up to date with a very special award-winning song. And tonight I have both the guys in the studio. Charles, good evening and a very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Chris. It's really an honor to be here tonight. I'm so appreciative of this.
And of course, we extend that warm welcome to Frankie M. Good evening, Frankie.
Very happy to be on the show with you, Chris. I appreciate it very much.
I have great pleasure in being able to call both Charles and Frankie my friends through their music and camaraderie that we have shared over the years. So much so that Frankie took me under his wing with my vocal. He now produces everything that I do and record under his label, To Law Records, out of New Jersey. In the next 2 hours, you will hear some music from the artists themselves, and we'll also be playing some music from artists that have been chosen both by Charles and Frankie for their outstanding talent. And then there will be 2 other special songs that will be my picks. We're going to kick off the proceedings tonight with the first song from Charles Ecker, or should I say the C.R. Ecker Band. It's called Your Smile Says It All, and lead vocals on this particular recording are from Amber Rose.
news, it clearly told me of your feelings. I heard instantly, a smile meant just for me. The look you give me makes me feel so proud. The look you give me lifts me up on a pedestal. Your look tells me quite a bit, but your smile says it all. Over the years you flashed your gentle grin. Through good and bad times makes no difference. There's no need for long conversation, knowing that your smile speaks volumes all the while. The look you give me makes me feel so proud. The look you give me lifts me up on a pedestal. Your look tells me quite a bit, but your smile says it all. Why do you give my life meaning? Words alone cannot express my view. Put your arms around me, hold me. Come feel the warmth that speaks to me so easily, so articulately. The look you give me makes me feel so proud. The look you give me lifts me up on a pedestal. Your look tells me quite a bit, but your smile says it all. Your smile says it all. Ooh, yeah. Your smile says it all.
What a sweet, sweet song, Charlie. Please tell me, what was behind that particular song?
Chris, that is such a special song to me. That's the wedding song I wrote for Linda, and here's how it came about. After the nuptials, Linda was expecting that the band would play There Is Love by Peter, Paul, and Mary. That's at least what she had planned with her mother, but nobody bothered to ask me what I wanted to do. And she didn't know that I'd already prepared a brand new, fresh, original song. And you just heard it, and boy, to see her smile when she first heard it, and she says to me, "You wrote that?" I said, "Of course. What do you expect?" You know, so it's been 33 years since I met Linda, 30 years this year since we were married, and that is definitely our song, and it's become one of the more popular songs that I wrote.
Well, Charlie, I'm also very, very pleased that you sent me both tracks, in fact, one by Amber Rose, which we just heard, and the one by Michael Stanton, which have been played on Splash Radio, and now what is Showcase Radio. Right, this now takes me up to my second favourite song that comes from the C.R. Ecker Band. It's a song called A Bright Tomorrow. It's one of your first, I think it was your first Christian song that you wrote. So this is A Bright Tomorrow.
If I had one wish granted in my lifetime, it would be to speak to everyone on the earth. I'd stand up before all of my brothers and my sisters. I'd suggest these simple things to help us make better world. Be kind, lend a hand to folks in need. Be loving, care for all life's creatures. Have faith in God, follow His word. The bright tomorrow starts today with you. Be kind to anyone that's suffering. Be loving, lift the child that's fallen. Have faith in God, make peace your vision. The bright tomorrow starts today with you. Be kind to anyone that's feeling pain. Be loving, hold the hand that trembles. Have faith in God and follow His word. A bright tomorrow starts with me.
That really is a beautiful song, Charles. And for me, it is probably one of the best things that I think you've done, and congratulations. Would you mind telling me and the audience the intricacies behind that song?
Yes, it's a song that I wrote about goodness. Goodness extended to fellow men and women throughout the world. I was working on this song in November of 2015 and just about had it done on a Friday. I think it was like Friday the 22nd. Heard the news about what was going on in Paris. Contacted you. You said, can you have it done by Tuesday? Because we're going to do a special program for the National Day of Mourning in France because of the bombings. So Michael Stanton and I worked through the weekend very hard to get it done in final form. And there's some complex instrumentations in there. We got that all taken care of on Monday. It was sent to you. You got it 4 hours before your broadcast. But the real intent of that song at a time of turmoil, even before the Paris bombings, and turmoil that continues to this day, was just to compose something about being nice to each other. That's my Unitarian Universalist background. I also gave this song away. Still am doing that now through CD Baby. Is my way of offering a gift to those that might be inspired by it.
And I also appreciate you getting that song to me for a deadline for one of my Wednesday shows. In fact, I'm very lucky that I managed to showcase nearly everything that you produce, and I'm eternally grateful for letting us hear, or letting me air your music on Showcase Radio.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
All the best music. All the best presenters. Showcase Radio.
And I have to go back to Charles now. And my third and final favourite choice, Emma Jean.
Got twirled when your baby blues first glanced my way 2 years ago. Sadie Hawkins Day. Now my body quivers, my heart pounds quicker when your soft wet lips set me trembling way deep down inside. Oh, come the night. I'd be nothing if something come between us. So I'm hoping you will hear me out about sharing dreams with me, soft and sweet. Oh yeah, hand in hand. Long easy street. Tenderly look in my eyes this special night, 'cause I asked the moon I did to shine up bright. Since I'm kinda shy, time to speak my mind. Gonna get it straight, gotta concentrate. This is new to me, like our first day. I'd be nothing if something come between us. Emma Jean, life for me would be dark and bleak, not loving you with all I got, and that's a lot. Oh yeah, hand in hand. Down on Easy Street. Never met no one like you. I'm feeling love so bad, feels so good. Hey, I'd be lost in life if something come between us. Emma Jean, my sweet, I'm wishing we'll share our lives, our own special way, forever and a day, in our own home. I built on Easy Street. Darling,
that was something very, very special. Foot Tapper. I know that was special for everybody that listened to it. Was it special for you, Charles?
I had such a kick writing this song. You just heard the payoff. It's a marriage proposal. And what's interesting from a construction point of view, it's my only words first song I've ever done. It took me a long time. I'd say it probably took me over 50 or 60 hours to write this. But the end result was really, really, it was just so much fun to do because it's modern country. I used a technique called a millennial whoop in it, which has become more accepted. And now that Katy Perry started doing it about 4 years ago. And it's just a cute little song. The reference to Sadie Hawkins' Day, that goes back to the 30s from the Little Abner comics. And Sadie Hawkins' Day is the one day of the year where girls can ask a guy to go out for a milkshake and go out for a dance, or go at a dance, can go dance or whatever. So that's why I put it in there, because he's a shy guy, and this pretty young girl comes up and asks him to dance, and 2 years later, he finally pops the question.
And it really is a showstopper.
Hi, this is Charles Ecker, and you're listening to Showcase Radio with Chris Duvall.
Well, now we come to the part of the interview where we're going to play Frankie M's and Charlie Ecker's Picks to Click. And I am going to now make them sing for their supper, because they're on the show. We better make use of them, haven't we? So I'll start with you, Charlie, if I may, and I'll leave it to you to introduce your 3 clicks to pick, the songs and the artists.
The first one is in the pop category. Her name is Cheryl Nye. She's from Montreal, and she's the first person I proposed to you, Chris, to play on your station. She has been on Reverb Nation now at #1 for the greater part of the last 6 years. I met her through a very small internet station called Nashville Universe. She was the first person that came on to the site when I was there and liked my music. So we started an internet conversation that way, and then through the chat room on what was then Splash Radio. She is just very dynamic in both her sound and her style. So this is the first song, which has really become her signature song, that was ever heard on Splash Radio, called Eyes of a Stranger.
Charlie, that was a fabulous first pick to click. It was, of course, Cheryl Nye, and I know Cheryl reasonably well, and I know they're a very close-knit family with her sister Karen, her mum Esther, who I think is absolutely wonderful, and, of course, her dad, who sadly passed not so long ago.
This is Leo Just from the band Relic. You're listening to the fabulous Chris Duvall on Showcase Radio. Ciao, baby.
The second person that I recommended to Chris was a young man named Cal Moon, who's from the Pacific Northwest. He's amazing. I met him when he was 17. His voice, extremely dynamic. He's got a timbre very, very reminiscent of Randy Travis. And for those of you who are not familiar with country, Randy Travis is one of the living legends of this particular type of music. He bases himself in Nashville, appearing at clubs there quite often. And I think the important thing about Cal, he's a very hardworking, dedicated performer who's on the road most of the time, plays 3 to 4 times a week live in different venues, large and small. But I think when I first heard him, there was something about him that just stood out among country artists, particularly traditional country artists, because you don't hear that many young people doing that type of music anymore. And I think it's interesting to note that Cal tours throughout the United States continuously. So with that said, I'd like you to listen to the first song of his that was played by Chris. It's called Cheyenne.
Seems like forever I've been on the road. Days are lonely, nights are cold. Thought I needed freedom, oh, but now I know everything I needed was waiting back at home. Sweet Cheyenne, where I grew up, where I learned to ride, where I fell in love. And without her, I'm only half a man. She's everything, my Cheyenne. I pray Cheyenne, still in Wyoming. I pray she'll give me a second chance. The big spotlight no longer glowing. I pray she'll forgive me and let me be her man. Now I'm going home to my Cheyenne. Sweet Cheyenne, the girl I love, purest angel sent from above. I was such a fool to ever want to leave. I pray Cheyenne could still love me. Only 31 miles till I reach town. I pray Cheyenne is still around. She ain't answered her phone. It's been 4 days. Lord, I hope Cheyenne ain't moved to LA. I pray Cheyenne still in Wyoming. I pray she'll give me a second chance. The big spotlight no longer glowing. I pray she'll forgive me and let me be her man. Now I'm going home lonely. I pray she'll give me a second chance. The big spotlight no longer owns me. I pray she'll forgive me and take my hand. Now I'm going home to my Cheyenne. Oh, I'm going home to my Cheyenne.
All I can say is that Kel Moon, I can see clearly is going to have a long and successful time in country music.
My third choice is someone I met coming up on 3 years ago at the Hollywood Music and Media Awards. Her name is Tiffany Ashton. She's from North Carolina. She's got a style that is just beyond compare. Voice, charisma on stage. Already, and this is in the last not even 18 months, she's appeared as an opening act performer for the brothers Osborne and Billy Currington, and most recently for one of the best known groups of all time, the Oak Ridge Boys. The song that you're going to hear now is the first one that she distributed, and what's interesting is we met at the Hollywood Music Awards. I had won the year before in Christian. She won that year in country, and she's coming back in November. And she and I are going to go head to head. This is going to be a lot of fun in the country category. I only found out about this last Thursday, that Tiffany has been named one of 8 featured performers at the Nashville New Year's Eve Gala at the Opryland Hotel. This is a big deal. And she just constantly amazes me. She sizzles, she soars, and I think she's going to be one of the big, big stars in Nashville very, very soon. So I would like to introduce to you Tiffany Ashton, and the name of the song is Southern Sweetheart.
And cut-offs, with her hair blowing round in the passenger seat of his pickup truck. Boys' necks are turning while daddy's fuse is burning, 'cause she's only 16. She's got the heart of a rebel no one can tame, born to be wild, born to be free. She's a Southern sweetheart when she walks in the room, just a Georgia peach grown from country roots. Sugar and spice with a reckless side, a sassy little thing in cowboy boots. She's a Southern sweetheart.
And what a sweetheart she is. She's everybody's sweetheart. She's a good-looking girl that has everything. She has a vocal. She can play that guitar really, really well. And again, name up in lights.
Hello, this is Sherilyn of Sherilyn and Frankie M. Wherever you are in the world, you can always hear the best music from the best independent artists anywhere on Showcase Radio every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. UK with Chris Duvall and Chris Duvall Presents.
Well, there we had Charles Ecker's Picks to Click. An excellent choices they are too, and I'm also very privileged that Charles decided that I should be the first one to play their music. And again, I said it once, I'll say it again. I'm eternally grateful, Charlie.
A big thank you on my end, that's for sure, Chris.
So that leads us nicely on to the latest success, Shimmering White Satin Black Tuxedo, which was nominated and indeed won Best Song in the Cabaret category of the Academia Music Awards, recognizing excellence in music. Just to say, this is no small accomplishment. It's something to be very proud of indeed, and the equivalent of a Grammy in the world of mainstream music. So Charlie, you wrote the lyrics. What on earth made you approach your friend and mine, Frankie M, to collaborate with you on this song?
Well, first of all, Chris, it's a major departure for me since country music has been my forte for so many years. Back in February, I was thinking about expanding and doing some different kinds of music. I had gotten into the Grammys last December, and I went to a Grammy party in early February. And one of the senior people there said to me, you know, you've established yourself as a songwriter. You got the Career Country Songwriter Award at LA Music Awards last fall. You really ought to think about, moving in some other directions, just try some different things. So I started to think about what could I do? You always are told to write about what you know. And in my case, I had spent 4 wonderful years working in Manhattan a while ago. And I started to write down the notes, the lyrics to kind of a song, reminiscence about being single in New York. And when I got it done, I'm thinking, who would be really perfect to sing this? And of course, I thought of Frankie because I was aware of him. We had listened to each other's music for 6 years through you. So I approached him and I sent him the words. And I'd say within 6 weeks or so, he came back with this wonderful melody for Shimmering White Satin Black Tuxedo. I just wanted to kind of think back of what it was like when I was young. And at the same time, I wanted to make it a tribute to the Big Apple. So that's how that part transpired. Frankie was very agreeable to it. And we produced a wonderful song. Absolutely wonderful.
And both being Jersey boys, of course.
Yes. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it turns out that for much of my younger years, I was only living 30 miles away from Frankie. He was living in Highlands, and I was living over in New Brunswick, and also was going to school there while I was working at a local radio station. So, isn't that ironic?
Isn't it just? If I can, I'd like to ask Frankie a question or two. Now, you're very well known, obviously, in the popular music business. So, when Charlie approached you, what did you think?
First of all, I was wondering. I said, well, I've heard a lot of great country stuff from him during the years, and when he told me he was kind of wanted to move in a different direction, a little skeptical. I figured, well, country guy, okay, I'll let me see the lyrics and and we'll see what we could do. And when I read the lyrics, I said, yeah, that's. I knew right away that we could get something really great out of him. So we started working.
And I guess the rest is history, huh?
Yes.
How difficult did you find it to compose to the lyric that Charlie had written?
I didn't find it too difficult because, the lyrics are well written, and I just thought back to New York and the scene, and It came pretty rapidly. I think within maybe a week, I think, wasn't it, Charlie, or a week and a half, I had something that I was showing you.
Yeah, it was about 10 days, yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't difficult at all. It was just a lot of fun. I threw myself into the project, and before you knew it, it was done. Just a lot of fun doing it.
Plus the fact that he and I are both about the same age, and we're in New York at this same time. In my case, it was the late 70s to early 80s. So I think Frankie could draw on some of the similar experiences that I had, which is reflected in the storyline.
Now, I know, Frankie, in this song, you tried something a little bit different in the production of this. You used horns for the first time. Yes,
most of the music that I write and I produce is geared more toward vocal harmony, and pop and doo-wop type styles. Mm-hmm. And with the cabaret song, you need the horns. I mean, that's for sure. I tried it. I worked through, and I think I have a good taste for the horns now. I can't wait to work more with them.
Be careful what you wish for, Frankie.
I know.
I don't want to telegraph the lyrics really that you're all going to hear pretty soon, but there is one line in there: feminine perfection by my side all the while. For guys, women love to hear that said to them.
And you say it works very well?
It works very well.
Well, Linda loves it, but of
course.
If I'm say it to anybody else.
Would you mind repeating? I just want to write it down.
So you can use it?
Yeah, say it slowly. I'm a slow writer.
Feminine perfection by my side all the while.
Is that with an E on the end?
Only in England, I think.
Okay. Now look, what I want to do is ask you. I believe there's a gala evening in Los Angeles in April next year to celebrate the 2017 winners. Is that right? And I think you've been there before, Charlie, with several successes in different genres. So if you wouldn't mind, would you tell the listeners and give them a little taster of what happens on the gala night?
Well, this will be, the mayor will proclaim this Frankie Goes Hollywood week. That's the first thing that will take place. Frankie will come out here, and I'll pick him up at LAX, probably drive him to his hotel, depending on the mood he's in. But it's going to be the Academia Awards, and it's going to be held in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. We're not going to fill up 100,000 seats for this thing. But what they've done, and they've now in the third year of it, they have a very nice, what they call Hall of Champions at the end of the Rose Bowl. And they have, it's all outdoors, which is nice because that time of year, it's always very nice out here. And they have the different honorees go to 3 different hotels. And each of the hotels, they're picked up by these big white limousines, and the limousines take them to the Hall of Champions where they get out, and then they go into the red carpet. Then from there, they have the award ceremony about an hour or so later. So it's very nice, very elegant, and it'll just be nice to be there, but especially nice that Frankie and I are going to be there for a song that we wrote.
You just might explain to him that he can't roll the red carpet up and take it home with him afterwards. It's got to stay where it is.
It is truly an honor to be going to these types of things. I think this applies to any form of entertainment or business or whatever prompts people to turn out all the bright lights and have the camera people there and all that stuff. It's interesting, though, that there is a protocol that you have to follow. Everybody has to be roughly 5 feet apart and walk in a certain cadence, step, repeat the step, to get another angle, then move on 5 feet or so. Then the next person comes up. My first award ceremony, Dwight Yoakam was ahead of me. This is back like almost 5 years ago, and he tripped. He tripped on the red carpet, almost fell down. But all these PR people and all these paparazzi people were like about ready to gasp. So we had to, all of us in the line had to back up 5 feet to let him go do this all over again. But there's a very strict protocol. Every time you go on a red carpet, there's a PR person that has one of these white easel boards, and they write down your name and the category and all that. And you don't leave until the PR person says, I've got this all written down, now go ahead. So it's a very structured thing. Wow. But when people see it at the end, it all looks so natural. I've had fun.
I know Frankie will be making the trip to Los Angeles to the Academia Awards ceremony. And how are you feeling about that, Frankie? Are you excited already?
I've been excited ever since we got the nomination, and always wanted to visit LA. I never had the chance to, and I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be wonderful. And actually, a lot of people from Jersey want to follow me over there. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but
I think it's about time we played Shimmering White Satin Black Tuxedo. So sit yourselves back, relax, and listen to the wonderful piece of music from Charles Ecker and Mr. Frank Musumeci.
Dinner tonight, how about soft candlelight? Limo will lead us down to Old Broadway. Shimmering white satin black tuxedo mood tonight. Shea Josephine, that front row at the marquee. Female perfection at my side all the while. Shimmering white satin black tuxedo night. Hold my hand and quicken the pace, stepping the skyline with style and grace. White satin black tuxedo mood with you. Sweet Caroline, our city spun its magic tonight. Waiter stands patiently, he's been way too kind. Shimmering white satin black tuxedo night, closing time. Shimmering white satin black tuxedo. Shimmering white satin black tuxedo. Like the dress to the nines, my love with you. Together for the rest of our lives.
Well, there it was. The fabulous Shimmering White Satin Black Tuxedo. Written by Charles Ecker. Performed by Frankie M. Composition, arrangement and production by Frankie M. There's also a video that has been produced by Will Stenner of Stenner Productions, which matches the excellence of the song itself. I think you have to agree with me, that piece of music you have just listened to is pure genius.
Listen to your favorite music, listen to the music on Showcase Radio. On Showcase Radio. Oh yeah, on Showcase Radio.
Now we have a surprise for you. I've got two special songs for you. They're my picks to click. Well, first up we have the lovely Rachel Austin and a track called Ballerina. Rachel is no longer, I believe, doing music, but she is very talented, and her picture books and her little furry animals and things that she does, I'm sure are standing her in good stead, and I know she's selling plenty. It was a track that you could find on her EP. In fact, I went down to Gloucestershire, which is quite a few miles away from where I live, to support her, and I had a very good night. In actual fact, went with a couple of colleagues from what was then Splash Radio, from the very talented Rachel Austin. Listen to Ballerina.
She was practicing a perfect routine. I was happy eating ice cream and just watching. She would dance in front of people daily. I would just be thinking, maybe I'll start dancing. No one ever knew what I was thinking. She's got perfection of flow like a river, and each time I see her, I wish that I could dance like a ballerina. She's got direction, I can't help but wonder why I'm nothing like her. If only I could dance like a ballerina. She had someone buy a perfect costume, drown her in expensive perfume, full of sweet love. Now I'm still just holding on to iced cream. She's up there dancing. What a sweet love. No one ever knew what I was thinking. She's got perfection of flow like a river, and each time I see her, I wish that I could dance like a ballerina. She's got direction, I can't help but wonder why I'm nothing like her. If only I could dance like a ballerina. I'm her and she is me. If I had the chance, I would love to be up there where she is, looking back at me with a perfect dance for all the world to see. 'Cause she's got perfection of flow like a river. Each time I see her, I wish that I could dance like a ballerina. Her direction is all I could hope for, 'cause I'm nothing like her. I never had the chance to be a ballerina.
Now we have Rhett Davis, a very, very good friend of mine. We normally have a nice bit of banter when we're together, but the song I've chosen is from his album called Spirit. It's called I Am the Eagle. This is Mr. Perfection himself, Mr. Rhett Davis.
There once was a silver grey fox of great beauty who lived very deep in the woods, afraid of the meadow where life once before had treated her worse than it should. And to think of the mountain beyond the green meadow did surely bring fear to her heart, for she'd heard the stories of all the great hunters and shivered and cried in the dark. Tired of living a life of dark shadows, the fox ventured out in the light and rejoiced at the sound and the smell of the meadow while keeping her shelter inside. Then all at once such fear overcame her as a shadow passed over the sun, and as she heard the cry of the great hunting eagle, she knew it was over and done. I am the eagle, the sweet soaring eagle, I've come to take you away, high up the mountain past sparkling blue rivers, and show you the place where I stay. Please do not fear me, for I will not harm you, no matter what others may say. And though it is true that our lives should not mingle, I need of some friendship today. Though she didn't know why, she accepted the offer and reluctantly climbed on his back, and the woods and the meadow were left far behind her. It seemed she would never get back. Then the fox sensed a yearning deep within the great eagle, and she felt something stir in her too. Could she, the fox, fall in love with the eagle, and he fall in love with her too? Could this eagle be lonely and searching for someone to help him rule his domain? Had he ever had someone to love and protect him, bring him in and out of the rain? And the eagle spoke soft, and his words were a wonder, in a voice touched with sadness it seemed. Even though I must hunt in the name of survival, I need not kill all that I see. For I am the eagle, the sweet soaring eagle, I've come to take you away, high up the mountain past sparkling blue rivers, and show you the place where I stay. Please do not fear me, for I will not harm you, no matter what others may say. And though it is true that our lives should not meet, I need of some friendship today. I've need of some friendship today. I've need of some love today.
Well, folks, I'm afraid that's the end of the show for now. I hope you've enjoyed listening to the show as much as I've enjoyed playing you all the wonderful music. Chris Duvall will be back soon with lots more specials for you, and I hope you can join me. I'm sure you can. So for now, I'm going to say thank you to Frankie, thank you to Charles, and thank you to everybody else in the independent world for being so damn good. This is Chris Duvall saying good night, God bless, and I'll see you soon. Good night.
You've been listening to Chris Duvall Presents, with some of the best independent music anywhere in the world. I'm Tommy Brewster from New Zealand, proud to be associated with this show and this station. So tune in again next week for the music you love to hear.